Hey everybody, so I'm back again with another recap of 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. We're just gonna get right into the recap because who has time for intros? Let's start out this week with David and Annie because we have a lot of baggage to unpack with these two. This week, the big thing was David's sister Nancy has come to visit from Pennsylvania. Nancy gets there, and for some reason Nancy did not stay in the firehouse with Annie and David. I wasn't really sure why, because it seemed like the firehouse has a lot of extra rooms, but maybe Nancy didn't want to fool with them like that. I don't know, but Nancy did not stay in the firehouse with Annie and David. She went and got herself a nice little Airbnb rental for the little time that she was there. I don't know how long it was. So they get there, and the first night they pretty much have a little cute little dinner together. I was like, okay, you know. And so David and Nancy and Annie are all talking, and of course David's unemployment is the topic of conversation. So Nancy is going in on David, and Nancy was like my favorite person this whole episode because she was having none of what David was saying. She was trying to talk about, you know, why don't you have a job yet? And Annie was kind of going in on David too, and David was acting like a little kid trying to talk his way out of. I'm like, sir, you're like 60 years old. You're not gonna like whine your way out of why you don't have a job. So Annie's like, why don't you just take some job, please? Can you just take something? And David's like, it's not that easy. And Nancy's like, it is that easy. Like, it's that easy. You just get a job and you go to work every day. I don't know why this man tries to make it seem like, just tell the truth. Just say I don't want to work. Like, it would be so much easier for David to just say, I don't want to work. I'm tired of the whole I can't find a job, the whole I went and tried and looked and I couldn't find anything sad song he's singing. I am so over it. And so were Nancy and Annie, and I don't blame them. Why doesn't David just go ahead and say, I like living off people? Just tell the truth. I like living off people. I like to borrow money from people and never have to pay it back. I like for other people to fund my trips and my food and my everything else. Like, I don't understand why he just doesn't say, I don't want to work. I mean, I know that don't sound good, but at this point, we all know that's what it is. So just go ahead and say it, David. And so, you know, David goes back and forth with them saying it's not that easy and I don't know why I can't find a job. And he's just sitting there shrugging his shoulders, acting like he don't know what they're talking about. Like, getting a job is the hardest thing in the world. And then finally, toward the end of the dinner, he actually asks Nancy to borrow money. And Nancy was like, I came all this way and you gonna borrow some money from me. Like, that's why I'm here, really. And that's exactly why they agreed for her to come, because David thought that he could sing his sad song, pull out his little violin, honey, and play it, and that she would feel sorry for him and let him borrow some money. We also found out that David has not only been bumming off Chris and Nikki this whole time, but he's been bumming off his family too. Apparently he has another sister and a brother, or maybe just another sister, I'm not really sure, but some other siblings, and he's been borrowing money from them and not paying it back. So this whole time that we thought he was just bumming off of Chris and Nikki, oh no, David's got money coming from several directions. Nancy was like, well, I could let you borrow money again, but that's not going to help you because you're going to continue to be unemployed. You're not going to find a job. So basically, Nancy told him no. And David was heartbroken. When I tell you, he was so hurt because he felt like, you my sister, you should give me money whenever I want to borrow it from you because I'm down and out and I'm unemployed and we're poor. And Nancy was like, no, she was over it. She's done. She's not letting David borrow any money. So that's another person off the list. He already lost Chris and Nikki, and now he lost one sister. So what other siblings he has to be still giving him money, because I don't understand how they have money all the time. They go to the little Thai food store so that Annie can cook dinner, and they spend like $50-something for one dinner. I was like, where are y'all shopping at, and where is this money coming from on this card David keep pulling out and swiping? So somebody's giving him money. Either Chris sliding him money on the side and Nikki don't know about it, or he getting money from other family members, or I don't know what he's doing, but somehow David is getting money because David is growing exponentially. David has not missed a single meal. David has missed now meal. I know everybody else, but we from the South and we say the word now. And now means none, nada, nilch, zero. David had missed now meal since he been on this show. David been getting bigger by the episode. I promise you, every single time I turn the TV on and it cut to Annie and David, David done grew another 20 pounds. Looking like Pizza the Hut. Third, how are you growing exponentially in size but y'all don't have no money? So somebody is funding David's food because that baby been eating. Y'all hear me? He has not missed now meal. So all of you who ain't from the South, you just learned a new word and you have my permission to use it this weekend. Go up to your friends and tell them y'all ain't gonna do now. Tell your kids you ain't gonna do now. Okay? Say it with me. Now. His dinner with just Nancy went so well. David decided to have dinner with Ashley and Nancy together. This was a bad idea. David should not have done this, but he did. And so they all sit down at this kind of nice restaurant, and Ashley and Nancy are sitting on one side, David and Annie on the other, and David waddles in and sits down. And they start talking, and Annie starts talking about her struggles in America and how she wants a family and how she wants to have kids with David. And Ashley and Nancy are shooketh because they're like, did you know that David had a vasectomy? Did he tell you? I think they were thinking maybe she didn't know. But Annie said, yeah, I know he's had a vasectomy. And Nancy's face was like, she was so confused. She was like, why would you say that you want to have kids with a man who's had a vasectomy? And that's what I'm wondering too. You know, what is with these Thai women who marry these American men that have had vasectomies who think they have so much money to get them reversed? Because y'all remember Josh and Ika? Ika did the same thing and then was mad when he didn't want to get it reversed. I want to have family. I want to have children. Well, maybe you should marry a man that doesn't have a vasectomy. Ashley and Annie are like, who you gonna have kids with? Because it ain't gonna be my daddy. And I was like, thank God, because the last thing we did on this earth is a baby Thai penguin. Annie gets angry and upset that they were asking questions even though she brought up the subject. I was like, girl, you started talking about a family, so I don't know why you mad at them. But she was like, why do I have to explain to you our business? It's nothing that you need to know. We don't need to talk about it. What we're going to do is what we're going to do. How we're going to gather these funds that you're going to give us to get this receptor reversal is our business. So mind yours. She gets upset. She gets up and she walks out. And so David just kind of slowly turns in his chair because he's so big he couldn't get up. And Ashley said that she felt like, you know, even though it wasn't her place, she was going to get up and go talk to Annie, which I thought was very big of her. Ashley was very mature this episode. Even though Annie cut a fool at the dinner, I thought Ashley was about to turn up on the kid, but she did not. And I was just surprised because I thought for sure when I didn't see her kids or her man there, I thought she was going to cut the buck, but she didn't. She held it together. And she went out. She was very nice and calm and cordial to Annie. And Annie had her stank face and attitude. And she was like, well, I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm just trying to level with you, girl. Like, he got a family already that he already don't fool with. So, and you want to have a family with him, we just don't think it's the best idea. Nancy was saying she don't think they need to have kids because they don't have no money and babies cost money. So that's the last thing you need to be doing is getting pregnant. So the dinner ends and, you know, Annie's still mad, I guess, about what they were saying. And I don't know. She did come back to the table and sit down and eat her little dry salad. But whatever. Fast forward again. And so Nancy's leaving now. And, you know, they go over to the Airbnb to say goodbye to Nancy. And Nancy basically is telling David one last time, you need to get your life together. You need to get a job. And y'all need to get out on your own and stop bumming off of people. And David, of course, it went in one ear and out the other. Pizza the Hut was not listening to nothing she was saying because he's still going to be bumming off of every and anybody who will give him money. I guess since Ashley and Annie had their little heart-to-heart moment outside in the parking lot at the restaurant, they decided that they would go on their own little dinner date again. Now, the first dinner date they had last season didn't go too well, and neither did this one. I don't know why they went on this dinner date, but I was laughing hysterically, so I guess I'm kind of glad that they did. So, of course, Annie brings up Annie's place of employment again in Thailand and how she met her dad. And so Annie was appalled and just, she could not believe that Ashley thought that she worked in a escort bar or a dick-sucking bar or any bar that the women do sexual favors to men. I mean, Annie just acted as if she had never heard of such. She had never seen such. I mean, Annie turned into straight Helen Keller. She said, I can't see nothing, I ain't heard nothing, can't say nothing. Ashley's like, well, yeah, that's where we thought that y'all met. And Annie's like, I didn't even know that Thailand had escort bars. I didn't know that women did stuff like this. Now y'all know. Now y'all know that Annie. Now, do I think that Annie worked in an escort bar? I think she did. I think that that's how her and David met. I think she, maybe not necessarily an escort bar, but have you ever seen that documentary on Netflix, like My Foreign Bride, I think? And it's where these men go over to Thailand and they bring in like 100 girls and it'd be like 5 British or American men. It'd be like 5 men. It'd be like 100 Thai women. And they just kind of do like a, you know, like a speed dating thing. They just go around the room and they can pick one at the end of the night. I think Annie might have been a part of something like that, which is why she's trying to act like the dick sucking bar is so beneath her. I'm like, girl, if that's what you did, you only half a step above them girls, because they all doing the same thing. I mean, she's trying to act like she didn't do anything disreputable. I'm like, you were basically in a brothel where men came and picked women. So let's stop acting so holier than thou. Annie asks us if she has never heard of such, that those kind of things don't exist in Thailand, which we all know is probably a lie. But then she proceeds to tell us the types of bars that her and David visited when they were in Thailand together on date night, which was the ping pong bar, which apparently, if your children are in the room, you might want to give them their earmuffs at this point. But a woman puts a ping pong ball where the sun doesn't shine, and I guess she shoots it across the room and opens beers with it and all kind of stuff. And I said, dear Jesus, I knew it was a muscle, but I didn't know you could work it like that. But I mean, apparently you can. And she said her and David had a good old time laughing at the ping pong show, but she want to act like she don't know what an escort bar is, but she going to see the ping pong show, and she acting like Thailand don't do these types of things. Girl, bye. Annie, ain't nobody believing what you saying. We know that David picked you up either as an escort or in that brothel full of women where the men come and pick a woman and take them home, and then they want them to be their bride. So she was in one of those kind of establishments, I'm pretty sure. She said herself she got to make money for her family. So I'm like, you were doing something. So let's not act like you don't know what Ashley's talking about. She tried to act all shocked and shook, but I wasn't buying it, and I know y'all weren't either. But that was pretty much it for Pizza the Hut and Annie. Let's move on to the next couple. Next is Paola and Russ, and pretty much, y'all, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I did not even watch all of Russ and Paola's segments this episode. I had a bunch of time saved up from pausing it while I was making dinner, and I decided to fast forward through. So I'm gonna just try to get through as much of Paola Russ as I can. So forgive me if this is your favorite part of the show. I'm sorry, because I don't know what them two did this week. So it starts out this episode with Russ and Paola finally leaving Colombia. I mean, I feel like they've been in Colombia about 3 years. Paola's reminiscing on, you know, the real reason why she went to Colombia, which was to see her grandma. And she saw her grandma one time that we saw. And then she went around, bouncing around Colombia, visiting parks and taking naked pictures. Finally leaving, and Paola starts crying about how she misses Colombia and her life there and how she is when she's in Colombia. Who cares? I honestly, whatever. Okay, fine. Paola misses Colombia and Russ is trying to console her. I don't know. Anyway, fast forward. They're back in Miami, and Paola goes fake working out with her friends so that they can talk about her baby that was miscarried. Paola's talking about how she really wants to have kids with Russ, and how Russ is not being there for her after she had her miscarriage. And, you know, I don't really know if I believe her. She seems to be happy with Russ. She's not leaving him. So I think this is just made up drama for the show, saying that Russ isn't there for her. I mean, what is he doing? Like, he didn't know I mean, you had a miscarriage. What are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to mourn for months and months over a miscarriage? Honestly, y'all, I don't know. I've never had a miscarriage. So I'm not going to try to downplay anybody's struggle, because I know some people who have several of them and have infertility issues, and it's a hard thing. And I think your man should be there for you if you have a miscarriage, but at the same time, it's like, what do you want him to do? What does he need to do? You want him to come home and rub your feet every night? I don't know what she wants from him. And I feel like if this is true, what she's saying, and he's not being there for her, I feel like she's probably not vocalizing what she wants him to do. Because Russ seems like the kind of guy who would just do whatever Paola tells him to do anyway. And if she comes home and says, I'm really hurt, I feel like he would put his arm around her and be there for her. I just think Russ is just a punk like that. I don't see him being nonchalant about her having a miscarriage, if she actually had a miscarriage, and if she actually was crying over it and is sad over it, which I don't really believe. And their last little segment was Paola going to the doctor, and y'all, I'm gonna be perfectly honest, I fast forward through that whole thing. I was to the point where I was so tired of seeing them and they fake stuff, I didn't even care anymore. I fast forwarded through that whole doctor scene. I don't know what the doctor told him. I don't know what he said. So y'all can write in the comments what he said. I think I heard something like somebody said on Facebook that basically she found out that her blood type doesn't cause her to have miscarriages or something like that. Y'all, I could care less. I don't know, and I don't care. I'm moving on to the next couple. Bye. Bye. Next is Molly and Luis, which I really should say Molly because Luis is gone. Molly is footloose and fancy free, honey. Luis is gone and out of the house, and she says she feels free. She says she feels so much better now that Luis is gone. There's just this weight lifted off her. She can finally roam through her house freely. She doesn't have to hide in her room and be scared that Luis is going to call the police on her. And so Molly's trying to now put the pieces of her life back together. And the biggest piece is her relationship with her oldest daughter, Olivia. Olivia has been gone from the house for about a month now. And Molly feels really terrible that she brought Luis there. And she feels like it's pretty much her fault that her and Olivia don't have a relationship. And Molly said that it's probably going to take years for that relationship to be mended again. I don't know if it's going to take years, but I definitely think that Molly has got some work to do to mend her relationship with her daughter, because she really did hurt her kid's heart when she brought that man in. And, you know, good for her, whatever. She just felt she needed to go, and so she left. And so Molly calls her daughter and is trying to be all nice and sweet. Molly sounded like a wounded duck on the phone, honey. She was just whispering and trying to talk all sweet to Olivia, because she really knows that Olivia is pissed and Olivia is over her BS. And so she tells her that Luis is gone, and she asks her, does she want to go to lunch one day? And Olivia says yes. So I think this relationship is back on the mend, which is good. I hope that Olivia does come back home and stay with her mom, and that her and her mom rebuild their relationship. Fast forward, Molly goes and meets with a lawyer because she's ready to get this divorce done quick, fast, and in a hurry. But not so fast, because our friend the lawyer tells us that divorcing Luis is going to be the easiest part. The hard part is going to be that Molly signed some kind of affidavit of support that says that she has to take care of Luis for 10 years now that he's here in the US. And so it basically means that if Luis gets into any kind of trouble, debt, or if he gets in an accident and has any kind of medical bills, that's going to be attached to Molly's name, which is straight up awful. Now, I was asking the question why she would even sign something like this, but one of my great followers on Twitter informed me that basically it's mandatory. If you bring someone from another country in and you marry them, you have to sign this, because the United States has to protect itself from immigrants coming in and racking up debt and getting medical bills and things like that. So somebody has to sign for them to come here. So Molly didn't really have a choice. Molly, this should have been the last straw. Like, that should have been the biggest red flag. If I would have read that piece of paper that told me I'm on the hook for this man, he's already a little shaky while he was here, I would not have signed. I'm like, we need to rethink this marriage. I think you need to go back home and we need to take a little more time. I need to pray about it, talk to the Lord or something. But she was just so ready to have a man. She signed that paper and now she is on the hook. So the easiest thing that she's going to have to do is try to get him deported, get him back home to the DR, where she is not necessarily on the hook for him, because if he's not here, then she doesn't have to take care of him. But if he's here, then she has to take care of him. I think, if I'm wrong, somebody correct me, but I think he has to be in the United States for this to be valid. I think if she can get him deported back home, then of course she doesn't have to take care of him, because he's not in the United States. Now, like I said, if I'm wrong, somebody please correct me. But Molly, girl, she just made a huge mistake, like huge mistake. And I think she's really starting to see it. Like, her eyes are open, the blinders are off, and she really sees that she effed up. All right, third is George and Anfisa. So we didn't really see a lot of them. So basically, I'm just going to talk about George's session with the therapist. Anfisa had her session with the therapist last week, and George had his session with the therapist this week. And so George got in there and told a little lie, which George does. The therapist asked him about how he's been doing with telling the truth, and he lied. He said he hadn't lied to Anfisa recently, and he had just lied to her about going to the lawyers with his sister. But anyway, we digress, because we know George is a liar at this point, and lies is what he does. George starts talking about all the problems in their marriage and about money. And basically, George said exactly what I said last week. Now, y'all know, I know a lot of y'all, Anfisa decided to act like a normal human being for one season, and everybody done forgot who she is, and now everybody's team Anfisa. I'm not team Anfisa nor team George. I agree with what George said to the therapist. I said it last week, and then he confirmed it in the interview. George is just a little slow, so he couldn't put together his whole, his whole dissertation as to why money would solve all the problems in his marriage, because I really wanted him to elaborate a little more. But George ain't too bright up there. He smoked too much weed, so he couldn't even think fast enough to answer the producer's questions when she asked him name 3 problems in your marriage that would go away if you had money. And George just said everything, because George didn't really know, he couldn't think that fast on his feet. That was too much. But I'm gonna help George out right now and give you the 3 things that will be fixed if he had money. First, the problems with his family. Anfisa would not give 2 flying farts if his family liked her or didn't like her. She wouldn't be trying to reconcile with his family, because they would be taking a trip somewhere. I don't think she would care. I don't think it would matter that his family badmouthed her or talked about her. I don't think she would be concerned with it, because she would have her money to keep her warm at night and dry her tears. Second, George is lying. I don't necessarily think that George would have reason to lie if he had money, because Anfisa wouldn't be asking no questions. If George had the money that he had, Anfisa would not be asking him any questions about his friends, where he going, what he doing, because she would be appeased and rocked to sleep at night by $100 bills. And number three, going to the divorce lawyers. She wouldn't care, and George would never have gone to divorce lawyers because they would be in a happy marriage because they had money. I'm telling you, George was right. Money would solve everything. Anfisa wouldn't be breathing down his neck, asking any questions. She would be appeased by the money because that was the whole reason that she was with him. The therapist asked George what did he like about Anfisa, and he couldn't name anything because the only thing he likes about Anfisa is her body. The only thing Anfisa likes about George is the fact that he had money. The only thing George likes about Anfisa is the fact that she has a really, really nice body. And to him, she is probably the most gorgeous girl he has ever talked to, dated, or married. And that's it. Them two are mainly there for he wants the arm candy and she wants the money. That's it. George couldn't say she got a nice body. I love her body, that I bought most of it. And so he just said her honesty, like, please, you don't like her honesty because it makes you look as more of a liar than you even are. So these two are trash. This whole relationship is trash. Both of them need to go jump in the trash can. Last, we saw Anfisa have a little fake fit because she was trying to pretend like she was mad, like she was reading comments right then. It was all set up by the producers. But anyway, George apparently has a child that is about 10 years old that he has not told Anfisa about. Now, we don't know that the child is George's, but the girlfriend or baby mama has been writing Anfisa comments for years, like since 3 years ago, saying that George need to come take care of his baby. Now, there's a couple things that could be going on here. This could be a girl who maybe didn't tell George that she had a baby, and then she popped up here recently and is trying to get, you know, him back in the child's life. Either way, if this is real, which I'm kind of questioning the validity of the whole baby mama drama thing, but if this is real, George needs to go ahead and get a paternity test, figure out if the child is his, and start paying child support. If he knew about the child years ago and he avoided getting a paternity test, that's a crappy thing to do. You need to go ahead and figure it out right then. But we know George lies, so whether it's real or not, who knows? George probably lied to Anfisa and didn't tell her he had a child. Maybe he knows it's his child. Who knows? We will never know because this man lies so much we can't tell the truth from a lie. So I think that George needs to go ahead and get a paternity test quick, fast, and in a hurry, and figure out if this is his child. God help that child if it is his, because he ain't got no child support money to give it. What else can I say? I mean, Anfisa was saying if this is true that she's gonna leave George and never talk to him again. I'm like, okay, perfect. Now you have an out to leave him, which is what you wanted to do anyway once you found out he was broke. I'm so done with these two. I don't know what to do. Let's just move on. Next is Nicole and Azen. So Nicole and Azen and May are still in Morocco, and Azen is still playing his cute, sweet, and nice game because of the phone recordings. They have gone on vacation to this blue city, and they're, you know, walking around, and it's real cute. Everything's painted blue. It's very nice. Azen is holding May's hand because he can't hold Nicole's hand, or he doesn't want to hold Nicole's hand. And they can't show affection in public, so Azen has taken all of his love and affection and put it onto baby May. Which I saw a lot of people on Facebook and Twitter saying that they thought it was real weird. I don't get a molesty vibe, if that's even a word, a molesty vibe from Azen. I think Azen genuinely just likes kids. I think he likes May because he doesn't like Nicole. So it's like, I think that he's putting all his love and affection on May because he doesn't want Nicole to come near him. And so that's what I honestly think. I don't like that Nicole has May calling him daddy. I don't like that he kisses her on the mouth. I think that's a little too much too soon. But I think that the fact that he holds her hand and watches out for her while they're walking through the streets and stuff, I mean, I think Azen just genuinely likes kids. I think it might be a cultural thing because here in America, we are just so wary of people doing things to our kids that we're like, And I think over there in Africa, I don't think it's that as big of a deal as it is here. I think Azen just genuinely likes May. So that's my ideas on that. So then they eventually go back to his hometown where they meet Azen's family. Azen's family was so excited to see May. I mean, they were just excited. They were picking May up. May was jumping up and down on the bed in the room that they said they were going to sleep in. It was just a good old family reunion time. And And they didn't really seem as excited to see Nicole. To me, I didn't really get that from them. I mean, they were being sweet to her. I don't think that they have anything against Nicole. But, you know, soon enough, she'll be throwing Azen up against the walls and up and down the stairs. So I don't know how they're going to feel when that starts happening. But I don't think they have anything against Nicole. I think they really do love May. See, I think this family just likes children. I think they just love May. May's a cute, sweet kid. I mean, who doesn't like May? So they sit down and they start talking about the wedding, and you know, Azen and Nicole are just discussing the plans, and Nicole is saying, well, I have about a month, and the mother and the sister are saying that they're going to help her, but she doesn't have a lot of time to plan this wedding and they got to get on it soon. You know, Azen and Nicole, Azen's body language was very off. He was looking nervous and scared. Azen does not want to marry Nicole. I don't think that's in his plan at all, and I don't think they're going to get married. I think Azen is plotting how he can get rid of Nicole even as we speak. He was talking about the wedding night and every night after that, and I was like, Azen, baby, ooh, Lord, every night after that, like, gosh, I feel like Nicole might be a freak. Like, I feel like she's gonna be raping Azen, and God bless him. Oh, we're gonna keep Azen lifted up in prayer for that wedding night and every night afterwards. So him and her go out to dinner, I think it was, and they start discussing what happened with the visa. Azen offers up some little sad lie, honey. I just think it's really funny that he's just now mentioning that they asked him questions about his ex from Belarus, or Belarus, as Nicole says. He never said anything about it when she first said that the visa got denied. She was asking him, what do you think happened? What did they say to you? What do you think went wrong? And he said nothing of this ex-girlfriend in Belarus, but apparently he got asked all these questions and the guy seemed real suspicious of it. So if he seems so suspicious of it, why is it just now coming up several weeks later after it happened? I don't know. It just seems suspicious to me. I think this is another lie that Azen took a little time and thought about and cooked that up and then threw that in there for extra seasoning. I don't think he went on that interview. I still don't. I just don't think he did. I just think it's strange that now all of a sudden this ex from Belarus is coming up out of nowhere. Like, where did that come from? And why are we just not hearing about her? No, bye. I don't trust it. No, I think it's a lie. I think it's all part of the story he made up to make her think that he went on that interview. I don't think he went. So now we fast forward because Mama Rabalee is coming to Morocco, and she is coming early, honey, because she has Azen's number and she's ready to see who this man is who is supposedly marrying her daughter and going to be her grandbaby's father. So when Rabalee gets there, they're going to pick her up at the airport, and child, she is so happy to see that baby May is alive and well and fed and face washing, hair combed, and she's just hugging and kissing her for about 20 minutes. You know, I think Miss Rabalee was being a little bit petty because she knew Azen was standing there, and she heard Nicole call her name about 5 or 6 times so she could introduce her to Azen, and she acted like she couldn't hear anything, like she was talking to May. She knew Azen was standing there. She was being petty, and I was here for it. She finally meets Azen, and you know, they go to lunch and they sit down and talk, and Rabalee just goes in. She wants to know what Azen's gonna be doing for work. She wants to know what was going on with phone recording. She wants to know what they gonna do with their lives, how this gonna work, what's gonna happen when they come to America. And Nicole is just upset that her mama is going in this hard on her man this soon. She said, Mom, you told me that you was gonna go easy on him. And I'm like, what we waiting on? Like, I'm here now. I mean, ain't no point in waiting to ask the hard questions later. I may as well get them out the way now. And of course, they have absolutely no plan. Supposedly, neither one of them is going to work until all of Nicole's Starbucks money runs out. And then Azen said he going to do some freelance work, some odd jobs here and there. Sir, you have a whole wife who eats plenty of food. Like I said with David, Nicole ain't missed a meal. And you got baby May who like eating hot bologna sandwiches at 3 a.m. So, sir, you're going to have to get up and go to work every day. Doing little freelance here and there, odd jobs, making money on the fly is not going to work. You need a steady income. You need a job, sir. And I don't know who gonna buy May's hot bologna sandwiches that she eating at 2:30 in the morning if Azen ain't going to work and Nicole can't get a job because she don't have the visa or the whatever to work there. This is a mess. I don't know why Nicole thinks that this is a good idea to be with this man. I don't know what his plan is. He gonna be a model? He gonna model those porcupine sweaters with that flat iron comb over? Is that what he plans on doing? I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me, and she's just beaming and smiling, going right along with it as if this is gonna work. Ma'am, you know you like to eat, and you know your baby gotta eat at all times of the night. Who gonna be paying for this food? I guess the parents. I guess she planning on living off the family. I don't know, but if you're no longer working in America to send him money, you were the one keeping him afloat. So now that you're over here unable to work, who's keeping Azen afloat? Have we not thought about this at all? Like, this whole plan doesn't make any sense. So I don't know what those two gonna do, child. And I'm waiting to see how long it takes Azen to get rid of Nicole and send her back over to Florida, because he don't want to marry her. But that's it for those two. So let's move on to the last couple. Okay, so last is Pedro and Chantel and baby sister Nicole. Pedro and Chantel have left off the last episode with a big, huge blowout. They're still heated. People are still separated all across Atlanta, child. Pedro and his sister somewhere. Chantel went somewhere for a little while. So Chantel gets home this episode and she basically grows up and womans up, puts her big girl panties on, and goes and apologizes to Pedro. Chantel pretty much wants to keep the peace. She seems like a sweet girl. She's not too bright, but she really is being mature in this moment, and she really surprised me. Her and Ashley both surprised me with their maturity in this episode. So she calls Pedro out into the little staircase because, of course, you know, they can't argue in the apartment because there ain't nowhere to argue in there. And she just tells him, look, you know, I'm not happy about your sister being here. She disrespected me with the whole couch thing, but I'm willing to put it behind us. I'm sorry, you know, let's just move forward. And Pedro basically brushed her off. And like in his interview, he was like, she just came to me and was like, oh, I don't care. And then like she still had a bad attitude. I was like, no, she didn't. She was very calm. She did not raise her voice. She wasn't happy about the situation. I'm like, what you want her to do? Smile in your face? She wasn't happy. She was being mature. She was womaning up and compromising with her husband to make him happy. And that was the right thing to do. And Pedro shouldn't have came at her like she still had an attitude when she was clearly apologizing to him. Pedro's basically on baby sister's side, which I told y'all a few weeks ago. Chantel will always be the bottom of the list when it comes to Pedro's family. That's just how Pedro is. Like I said, she can either get on board with that or she needs to leave him because family is always going to trump wife in Pedro's mind. He goes out to lunch with little sister and they're talking about the investigation and how it's all stupid. And then Nicole had the nerve to say that she slept on the couch and the couch was all right. We just went through this whole blow up with the blanket and the pillow and the sleeping bag. You talking about, oh no, I know, like I don't sleep on sofa. And then you said you slept on it and it was comfortable and you slept okay. You know what? This little girl need a butt whooping. Huh? Pedro, River, all of them need a whooping. I'm about to go get my belt and line these children up and just whoop everybody behind because clearly these folks ain't never got a whooping in their life. You don't come to folks' house and tell them, oh, I'm not sleeping on your sofa. But then when the blowout happened and you lay down to sleep on it, you say everything is good and fine and you slept good. That's the quickest way to catch a behind whooping around here, okay? Y'all in Atlanta. So I'm gonna need y'all to start snatching people up, no questions asked, and start acting like you from the South. Chantel, since she's uncomfortable in her own home, goes over to visit her family. And I'm gonna tell y'all, this is probably one of the weirdest family gatherings that I've ever seen. The first weird thing that I saw was when all the family gathered up in the living area, they all had their clothes completely on. And I'm not saying they gotta be naked, but they had on their outerwear, their shoes, and everything. I'm like, y'all don't know how to chill and be cool? Y'all can't take your coat off in the house? I don't know if it was cold. Pedro had on a puff coat. Daddy had on his suit coat. Chantel had on her fake leather blazer. I was like, is it cold? Why is everybody fully dressed? I know the cameras are here, but my goodness, you could at least put on like a comfortable shoe and take your jacket off. You're at home. So they all sit around and Chantel's telling what happened with Pedro, and she slips up and tells them that Pedro decided to go sleep, or he was talking about going to sleep in a hotel with his sister to leave because of all the tension going on in the house. It's just a hostile situation for Chantel. She thought that she was going to be the bigger person and let little sister come in there and they were going to kind of be chill for 2 weeks, but it seems like it's just a hostile situation. Pedro talking about he about to go sleep in a room with his sister, and the family is just appalled, and I was appalled too. Now, I've always kind of been on the side of Pedro saying that I don't think he has a weird relationship with his sister, but y'all, this is getting weirder and weirder. I just don't know what to think. I'm confused. I honestly don't know if the woman is his sister or if it's his girlfriend slash baby mama slash wife. I honestly don't know. I know there's conspiracy theories going around that the sister is actually his girl. And that Chantel was just his ticket to get to America. But y'all, at first I was like, that doesn't make any sense. This girl has to be his sister. They look alike. And now the more that comes out, I'm like, I don't know. I don't necessarily think that that's his girl. For now, I'm going to say that it is his sister. But I think they just might have a strange relationship. Like they might just be cool. Like some people, families do different things than others. I mean, some people's family, like some girls sit in their daddy's lap still. Like you wouldn't catch me dead sitting in my daddy's lap. Y'all hear me? But some girls do that because like they think that that's normal. And I mean, maybe sharing a room with his sister is normal. That's weird to me, but I don't know what they do in their family and their household. So I don't know, honestly, y'all, but it's getting strange and I'm squinting at them is what I'm saying. They are under surveillance. I will say that. But for now, I'll say that it actually is his sister, but it is a very strange family relationship. It's almost as strange as Chantel and River. So if Chantel and River can have this strange lovey-dovey relationship, then I think that Pedro's allowed to have a strange one with his sister. So I'll just say it's his sister for now. So as Chantel keeps telling the family more and more of what's been going on in the house while sister has been there, family just gets more and more heated, and they just don't think it's right that Pedro is doing so much for his sister and putting his sister before his wife. They think it's wrong. They ain't never heard of such, and they don't think it should be going on. And River thinks that Chantel needs to leave Pedro and divorce him, of course, because he don't think no man is good enough for his sister. And the mama starts taking her jewelry off like she about to ride over there and fight somebody. First of all, Mother Chantel, you don't take your jewelry off at the house while you talking about somebody else. You take your jewelry off directly before the fight. When the beatdown is about to happen and person is standing right in front of you that you're about to throw hands with. Nobody takes off their jewelry at home when they know they're not even about to get in the car and go drive nowhere. Mother Chantel has never been in a fight before in her life. She just wanted to look cute and take her earrings off like she was real hood and ghetto and ratchet and about to whoop somebody. She looked silly. First of all, taking off them cubic zirconia, I don't know what kind of middle of the mall jewelry that she had on. You can keep that on, baby. We ain't worried about that. Put your earrings back on. You're not about to go out in the cold and fight nobody. Y'all got your coats on in the house, so clearly you're not even about to go outside into the actual cold air. It was just a hot mess of just confusion and just, oh my God, craziness. And I feel like the tension is just building with this family and Pedro, and it's about to come to a head next week, and I cannot wait. But that was it for this episode. That was all the couples, and y'all, the drama is just getting deeper and deeper, and I can't wait till the episode that comes out Sunday. So thank you guys so much for making it through another recap with me again. If you want to follow me on Twitter at NICHI_P_tweets, I live tweet during the show so you can see my first real reaction, what I think of what's going on in the crazy episodes right then as it's happening. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to me every single week and watching me and commenting. I love your comments. Some of you guys come with the facts. You give me new information that I didn't even know about. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.